Hello everyone, and welcome to the second Loops event of this year. My name is Ava and this is Stefan. We're both studying here in the Master's Program Design and Computation, and tonight we're moderating tonight's edition of Loops. For those of you who are here for the first time, Loops is our event series here at New Practice, initiated together with the Berlin University Alliance and now supported by the project Zukunft of the State of Berlin. Today we welcome Venelin Shurelov and Veneta Androva, who join us for this session called Strange New Species, within the digital milieu of networked, datafied, and algorithmically driven interactions between people, technical systems, and the environment. New kinds of artificial and hybrid entities emerge that elude straightforward classification. Among these strange new species are so-called mushroom websites that proliferate in the Bulgarian web space to spread disinformation and propaganda during political campaigns, only to disappear or become inactive once a campaign has run its course. Another odd being is One Person, a 13-meter public statue in Sofia, which broadcasts dynamic visual content through a computer algorithm combining video surveillance, data valence, and AI-generated text, forming a collective body in the process of constant self-actualization. In this loop session, Veneta Androva and Venelin Shurelov will elaborate on the nature of these more-than-human actors and, in doing so, provide insight into their artistic practices and methodologies. So, how it will work. We will begin with one presenter having 15 minutes, and the time will be tracked on the loops. And then we will have a very short 10-minute question round for their input, and then we'll move on to the next. We'll do 15 minutes of input again. That will also be tracked on the loops, a short question session about that, and then we'll have a final round to bring together the two in dialogue. Afterwards, we will invite you, of course, to continue the conversation at the bar.
Okay, so hello everyone. I have the pleasure to introduce our two guests. Venelin Shurelov is a visual artist, scenographer, and researcher working at the intersection of art, technology, and critical media practice. His work explores the hybridization of the human and the machine, automated systems, and the performative nature of contemporary technologies. He is the founder of the Atomic Gallery, a 24/7 digital art space in Sofia, and the co-founder of DA Fest, as well as the MA program in Digital Arts in Sofia. Shurelov's projects have been presented internationally in exhibitions, festivals, and academic contexts, focusing on questions of perception, control, and technological fiction. He teaches and lectures on digital art, performance, and media theory. Veneta Androva is a visual artist living and working between Berlin and Sofia. Her practice focuses on CGI-based moving image, an installation developed through research-driven artistic practices. Working across single-channel works, multi-channel video, and spatial formats, she examines how contemporary realities are shaped by technological infrastructures, mediated information, and structures of power. Across her projects, Androva develops hybrid narratives in which documentary material and fiction intersect. Her films are internationally recognized with honors including the German Short Film Award in 2020, the Prix Ars Electronica 2021, and the 25 FPS International Experimental Film and Video Festival, as well as representations in institutional contexts across Europe and beyond. And with this, I would like to give you the stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much for welcoming us into this inspiring incubator, cozy, intensive in certain moments, I guess. So I will present three sides of my activities. Just to let you know that I will try to briefly show you for 1 minute the whole of my activities during the last 25 years. Then 10 minutes for the mentioned project, one person, Urban Electronic Corpus, and the rest, a few minutes, I would like to dedicate it to the very, very fresh and new project that we run in Sofia, Automatic Gallery. So don't blink because you're gonna miss something. But I was quite inspired of the title of today's meeting, and I think it fit very, very well into fascination and obsession that run my artistic life. Obsessions on defining and creating, I call them culturological actors. Some specific and special representators which I use to be some sort of players, some sort of actors, some sort of containers of what I did observe in the human condition nowadays. I think it's important for me to create my own mythology, and the mythology we know it has representative figures. There is certain subjects that was not exist before. So creation of such a subject, creation of this container of meanings, it's something that it's important for me. In these specific figures, I'm looking for some key aspects. In one side, I'm very interested on marginalization, how we perceived and how we deal with otherness, and how this otherness and difference could be applied into the realm of technology. Technology also brings otherness, brings the idea that led us to escape from our boundaries. And in this process of extending ourselves, of reshaping ourselves, I think we could insert and point out the most important questions of our time. So I'm gonna play a short video. It will be as a background. You can mute if there is a sound on it. Okay, is it run? So this video represents a little bit more in detail this artwork. It's a public art which stays for almost 2 years into the center of Sofia. The place, actually, it's quite important. It was a square where was the monument and the mausoleum, actually, of our ex-communist leader. So the mummy of his body stayed for more than 30 years. And now this space is still very polemic. We still deal with this past, and it's still something that divides our society. So my idea was to create some sort of figure, of collective body, that is working by process of constant self-actualization, catching and capturing actually the videos from two cameras on both sides of the figure, and allowing that we could be part of this collective body. Each full hour, it became like a huge media extension, so it became in the full-scale regime. So you could apply your whole body into this 13 meters long tall figure. So maybe I could point out one more aspect, because it was a silent artwork. One person was a quiet person, but I decided to give him a speech, a word, a way to speak. So I develop software, custom software that research 6 websites about technology, about the city life, culture, politics, that sort of things, and to extract every day the title of the news. And then every 15 minutes, every day there was a different group of titles, but the system interpreted the titles pretending that they are, grammatically actually, they was from a first person singular. So any news became his personal decision, condition. Any event that was captured by the system became his own responsibility, in a way. For me, it was huge battle. It was a really battlefield, dealing with so many different reactions in the public space, you could imagine. But it was also a tribune to manifest that it could be a work, artwork that could be emancipated by the artist, out of control of the artist, that could be a process-oriented, and that artwork that actually doesn't have any content. This art piece, it's empty. There is nothing inside. But the presence, the light, the conditions, the news, the events, locally and globally, actually was this dynamic content into the body. So where we are on the loop, okay, I have plenty of LEDs. So one person was brutal project, technically, and also as a communication. I organize a lot of events and a lot of web-based also platforms for sharing articles and theory and the whole aspects that was hidden behind this installation. I can go to the conclusion about one person. You can read on the slide Homo arbiter forme, decision maker and brain worker. That was my attempt to bring the theory of digital art on the public side. And probably you know it was a very famous essay, System Aesthetics of Jack Burnham. And he's talking about Homo arbiter forme. That the artist, the new artist, should be not Homo faber, someone that produced stuff by his hands, but mostly some sort of decision maker. The artist built the frame, the open frame, and then he creates open system. The art piece became some sort of living organism with his own speech, with his own dramaturgy and his own rights. And then we go into the idea of automatic gallery dimension project, which I think it's a new incarnation of one person. Even that it's a very different project, they function in very similar manner. And the similarities is on this openness. Automatic gallery, it's also running 24/7. The process of generation and self-actualization and public access is integrated into the structure. So it's a project that presents two different, there's two different zones. One is on the facade, faced on the street, where is this big public screen for screen art, screen-based art, and inside the project it's presenting solo artists, one artist, one art piece, and everything it's accessible and open, as I mentioned, 24/7. So it's something like a big vending machine, but you couldn't consume. Yeah, you could consume mentally the content of this machine, and you can get inside of it, and you have your own private space. So we just run recently, and I could say that it's a quite challenging project to be facilitated, to be to find and to provide the program. It's specific. There is no security. It's a video surveillance, but it doesn't help in some cases. So I think the idea of anti-institutional aspect, it's quite important, that they could be a space that run by itself. Also, some crucial point, it's the principle of curating. I'm looking and working on the projects that will allow also some sort of liberal curating, some automatization also into the process of decisions of the program. So yeah, visit Sofia, and of course you're welcome into Automatic Gallery. I'm also here for scouting potential artists that could be present, so have in mind that we could discuss also this possibility. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will open it up to any questions from the audience.
Thank you for the presentation. You seem to engage a lot with the city, with the people in there, but also, as you said, surveillance camera also speak of urban planning, urban security. There's a lot of themes there. How does the city of Sofia, in particular, kind of influence you, or and how is that different? For example, if you were to do an artwork here or a public space here, a piece of public art here in Berlin, how will you approach it differently?
You never know. It's so hard to label the audience. It's not easy to shape it in a certain way. So it is a big mistake if you put any expectation on labeling the audience. I have quite a big experience with the public art, also making several performances. And I have quite a lot of observation how people change, how they react when you want to communicate with them. So the crucial point is to find a way to communicate with the audience. And I think then the difference between the cities and locations, it's not that important. Of course, I'm in a little bit different situation because I love riddles. And I love to put some game of coding and decoding the artwork. So it's important that there is something, some key word, some key knowledge which open your understandings. So it's a part of the communicational game. But of course, I was so worried. It was a lot of in social media, a lot of violence, a lot of I collect. It was so funny. They suspect that this is illumination, some satanistic, very dangerous 5G signals that was hidden, and our kids are playing there. Their parents are aware. They want to give him a cocktail, but Molotov cocktail, that sort of things to one person. So yeah, I was quite worried, but people actually on the spot was so curious and open. So I have great feedback from them.
I was wondering, because you mentioned that you were in the process of finding ways of automating also the curation of the gallery. I was wondering, how can I imagine that? Is that I don't know, an LLM that selects artists based on sort of project descriptions, or what does that process look like, or what systems are you trying to implement for this?
Yeah, this is not easy part, but this is something I would like to develop. And I have quite few examples how this could be managed. And I can give you one that probably could fit. It's a work of artistic couple, Medi and Kunst Bitnik. They have an art piece named Random Darknet Shopper or something like this. So it's a bot, it's an algorithm that dive into a darknet, and it has certain amount of bitcoins that should spend, and the objects that it buys goes into the gallery, in the physical gallery. The first one was Axioma in Ljubljana. So this is some example how curational process could be liberated by unknown and unpredictable processes. Of course, there is a main superpower, the artist that build up such a system, but the manifest, the insecurity, the problematization that run this sort of dealing with the idea of creativity also, it's quite tempting for me.
Well, based on the example that you've given, I'm sort of wondering, because for the case you now said, that's a very specific sort of area. The spot was sort of let go and like explore and buy things from. And I'm sort of wondering then, what would the criteria, or like what would a system prompt for a system that goes out and curates an exhibition? What would that look like? Like, is there, I don't know, do you have a mission statement that you give and you're like, hey, this is sort of what we want to show? Or is it also exclusive to art? Could it also be something else? Is it just sort of let go? Or what are the criteria that you'd like the system to adhere to when you have something like this?
I think the important thing is building the system that allows openness, because this could be some sort of activism, some sort of occupation. It could be process of appropriation. It could be some sort of hacktivism. So I would like to deal with vulnerability, of fragility, of accessibility of the space. In which direction could goes this possibility? What could extend? What could provoke? And then, of course, this is a very risky situation. But I think now it's so important to play with the risk, to accept this potential threat and to see how to deal with it.
Before you talked about the digital artist and how he's not really creating by himself anymore, but also manages a lot. And now that we're living in the age of AI, one could say, do you think that the role of the artist is changing again? And how does these new technologies change the role of the artist, in your opinion?
It's a huge topic for these idiots. They are not enough. I consider it like emanation of conceptual art, because you use words, you use concepts, you need only a statement. And we know that the art is the idea, and the ideas are most valuable, most precious currency. Of course, many things are changing. And the most specific thing that bothers me, and it bothers me in any aspect, in any case, is the inertia. So when I see the inertia, that's my edge, that's my point. Then I mobilize myself for resistance.
Thank you. I guess we can now move on to the second part.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited to be part of the Loops. And I'm gonna talk today, or this evening, about my last project, Spray and Pray, which is a research-based speculative documentary project about monetized disinformation infrastructures. And I've been developing it since 2023. It went through several different stages. I've shown some fragments as video installations and part of the research, but at the end, the final product, so to say, from the whole project is a short film, as most in my portfolio. And it moves or migrates between exhibition space and cinema. And there is a lot of text in my presentation, sorry about that, but it's necessary. I will guide you through the research first, and then I will discuss with you, or like try to explain how all of this research became a film form. And let's start like that. What are actually these mushroom websites, these creatures? Mushroom websites are templated news sites that appear in large numbers and repost content under many domains, different domains, but as you see, only the title is different, everything else looks the same. This is not a Bulgarian phenomenon. Here is an example of, for Poland and Belgium, some two mushroom websites which all have this newspaper template and are laundering information as the same business model as the Bulgarian ones. What was interesting about the Bulgarian mushroom websites was this platform Share for Pay. I discovered it in the beginning of the research, and I started with a self-experiment. I signed up in the platform myself and created my own mushroom website. This is the main page. It's pretty obvious what they're offering. Like, you sign up for free, you earn money in your free time. And what is it exactly? It's a platform for sharing content, news articles in exchange for payment. And it's sharing Facebook groups, pages, and other channels. Facebook is just the main social media in Bulgaria. That's why this is the most important one. This is the dashboard. When you sign in 30 minutes only, you get your mushroom website generated, which starts publishing articles 24/7, and then you see here the dashboard, which is just like, you can see how much visits you get, how much earnings you get, and how it's like the payment method. It's bank transfer or PayPal, but the important part, as it's written underneath, it's that to make sense for you to be able to earn additional income, your daily reads must be at least 1,000 or more. So it's also, it should really circulate. And there is also another recruitment level as a monetization strategy, a partner program. You get your personalized link, which you can send to friends, and if they make their own mushroom websites, you earn from their earnings. Like this multi-level commissions logic. You have like 10, 5, 2%. And of course, where does the money come from? The big question. This is a study from Todor Galev's, or this slide, Center for Study for the Study of Democracy. In his report, he found out that the same script appears across all sites and points to an ad delivery system linked to AdRain. This is like the script AdRain check system. And through domain check with DNS dumpster and view DNS, these DNS reports and IP checks review shared monetization backend across the network, which means that they all use the same ad delivery system, which is okay. So it's connected, and this is the AdRain page. This is a screenshot from Wayback Machine, because the page is since end of 2020 or mid of the 2025 not accessible anymore. It's a company for ad delivery on websites, a Bulgarian company registered in Bulgaria, and it's important for the whole project that this mushroom part of like they leave all of the system leaves traces, but then they disappear and then reappear again, which I had during my research a lot. That's why some screenshots are just from Wayback Machine. And this is some numbers, just to give you a sense of the scale. This is a report from 2024 from Human and Social Studies Foundation in Sofia. They were monitoring 39 mushroom domains, main domains, and they were tracking the subdomains. And every domain, mushroom domain, had like around 10,000 subdomains, so altogether, quite a lot. But not only that, also they circled, like they had a pretty good circulation. This is from a monitoring company, Sensica. They did this hackathon against disinformation in 2022, and I think they were the first that started monitoring those domains. And here is like some numbers, share for pay links, for example, in public groups, and underneath we have the legit media links in public groups. So it's quite big difference. So the mushroom websites, they were circulating a lot, and it's obviously highly effective. And it's of course interesting what kind of content, like when we get the circulation, we have the scale of the whole thing, and what are they posting the whole time. And this is from another report showing that mushroom websites started actually to be very active around 2022 after the invasion and in Ukraine, and then they just exploded. And the content circled a lot around sexism, homophobia, migration, against liberal morality and the ethics of the globalism, which made it very clear for me how I should focus my lens, just because it was the content, there was so much content, I had to be precise, and of what exactly I'm researching about. And I wanted to concentrate on identity-based disinformation, just because it was so dominant. And the method that I started with the simple method by, like with the keyword searches in my own mushroom websites, archiving headlines and thumbnails collected from my website, and then I did a cross-check, because I got monitoring data shared by Human and Social Studies Foundation and Sensica from a period of time of 2 years on the keywords that I was researching on. And so I got this access to a bigger amount of data, which was very helpful for the next step in the research project. And it was a collaboration with machine learning expert Svetomila Mihailova at I2 University. We tried to test all of the headlines that I had as a data set, how they perform in 3 different directions. We used for that Bulgarian or models that were trained specifically in Bulgarian, which is of course super important, and also Bulgarian as a language is highly underrepresented in such researches. And we had the luck to work with Goethe Institute in Sofia. They were developing those models and gave us access to them. And first we tested if the headlines were machine written or machine generated or human written. First we did the test with the BERT model, and afterwards in 2025 Boo's model was developed, which I used at the end for the film. And we also tested the disinformation likelihood with another BERT model and sentiment. The training context for the boost, I hope it's not getting too technical, but maybe it's interesting for some of you, that it was with 50% human written and 50% machine generated text. And this was the pipeline shortly, that headlines, all of the headlines were paraphrased using an LLM. The original and the paraphrased versions were then encoded with the same model and through a CME's mechanism compared and classified if machine generated or not. This is one example with tokens and heat map. Up you see the headline, and then the results we got on it. And now I have some the odds left. I would like to go further to from the research to the film form, how I developed the film with all of this data collected and all of this material. And I used the research as a narrative material that staged the data, so to say, and tried to have the perspective of the system and to make the system visible from within. All of the characters that I developed for the film were based from real data, like emails, domain registration, corporate roles, but their identities are anonymized. And it wasn't, I didn't want to expose individuals, this was clear, but to make the system readable. And in the film, there is like, every character gets first like a short introduction through a CMD logic with his role and email. And here we have like some film stills from 2 operational roles inside the system. For example, a platform user and domain operator. And here is a domain administrator and platform owner. And the only fictional composite character in the film is this mushroom man. As you see, we get the results from our tests also functioning as subtitles in the same time. And this mushroom man speaks only through collected headlines and acts as the voice of the network. Also, all voices are performed first by me and then reshaped using synthetic voice models built from real voice samples contributed from real people. And now...
Напаст. Бежанци брутално завземат жилища на българи с тази скандална схема. Експерт от Париж. Скок на престъпността в Европейския съюз заради украинските бежанци. Шок и ужас. евро. Видео.
Нашия бизнес се финансира от реклами и рекламни мрежи. Разбира се, отчасти, кеш на ръка и в брой, както се казва. Не, шегата на страна, пак казвам. Всичко при нас е съвсем legit. Никога не са били санкционирани с съвети за електронни медии, не снемали каквито и да било проблеми. НАП биха могли да ни проверят, когато пожелаят, но не са го правили, защото няма и причина. И разбира се, не се крием. Защо да се? Нашия бизнес е съвсем легален. Сайтовете ни се хостват в България, фирмите ни са регистрирани в България, всичко ни е изрядно.
So this was a 2-minute expert. I was too quick before saying that. And now I would like to finish with this. I'm sorry. Took me a bit longer than expected. When infrastructure are opaque and distributed or erased, speculation becomes a form of evidence. And I don't use speculation as fiction, but to render complex infrastructures through cinematic form, and to access realities that cannot be fully observed and shown directly. That's it. Thank you.
The mushroom websites, so people get money if they have more than 10,000 views on them. And you said the monetization is coming from ads also, but is it also different sources? Because there's a clear intention behind it. So is maybe the Russian government also funding it? And maybe do you have like a rough idea of how much money is earned with these mushroom websites?
The distributors, like these small users that are signed up to Chef-Pay website, they earn peanuts for sure. I mean, there is not really, like, you have to put it in a much higher scale by, for example, a lot of Facebook groups and stuff like that, and post a lot, and then maybe you could earn a little bit, like some small income, but mainly the websites are financing themselves through these ads run by this ad platform. And what it's interesting also why they use all of them use the same ad distribution platform, ad delivery platform, is it's not unpolitical. It's also because there is, for example, in Europe initiatives to blacklist such sites like mushroom websites, so that ads from, for example, platforms like Google Ads or retail advertisement and so on, that they don't play on those websites, so that they don't get funded by ads in this way. And these initiatives became very important in Europe after 2022, mainly also like different countries, and that's why I found it particularly important also to have this character at the end that you saw, the CEO of AdRain, explain how things work, because by making their own platform for advertisement, they are pretty much they can say where they run or not, so they are secured in that sense. And I guess I'm not sure. I cannot say how good they earn, but for sure it's decent. And what I was observing is that it's not that much about ideology, but more about the clicks at the end of the day. And there is like a new report recently on chef of pay that it was first registered in China, for example. So it's very much untraceable, like it's, yeah, China, then Bulgaria. Then also it was on sell the domain for some time, so I don't know where else the share for pay will land.
What kind of ads were shown? So I would imagine many companies don't want to have their ads on a misinformation platform. Was it like mostly porn and gambling who couldn't do ads anywhere else, or were the companies who were doing the ads also like maybe politically motivated to?
Mostly gambling, for sure, this very strong one. And then the rest is like some weird buy this medicine that will make you thin again or whatever, like these kind of things.
Yeah, this might be a bit of a Gen Z question, but I'm sort of wondering, in my eyes, it would be much easier to just do it on social media. So I was kind of wondering if you could see any reasons why they built their own website. Maybe it's just for displaying even more ads than you could on social media, but it seems a bit more overhead than necessary, so to speak.
Could I piggyback onto that question? I was also wondering, what's the point of having humans in this? Like, why do humans need to run these websites? Is it purely for sharing on social media that these platforms actually get publicity? Because as far as I understood, they're not really posting anything on these websites, right? The websites are fully automated, if I understood correctly.
The websites are generated automatically, and the post of the articles that are getting posted on the websites is also automated. What the humans do is the distribution as real users in platforms, and this is the value part, I guess, for the whole system, because it's not that easy to fake, to be a bot and fake real usage, and this is where the humans get in to the game by sharing and reposting links from these websites, which, I mean, you have to have the link from somebody. It has to land on some web page. I guess that's why they have the web pages, because it's like a reference, okay, it's written here and there, it's published somewhere, it looks like kind of a newspaper or something. And they, most of the time, of course, in social media, you just read the clickbait title and that's it. You don't even go to the article. The articles are mostly like half written anyways. Like you open it, it's like, at some point it ends, it's not really, yeah, it's actually about the clickbait and the click itself, yeah.
Yeah, I would actually like to hear a little more about the creative process with the Mushroom Man and like why you decided or like came to this character like in your film.
This happened very quickly in the beginning. I had then my first video installation in Sofia with the Mushroom Man, which was just citing these headlines. Oh no, it's so much louder. And I don't know. I wanted to create like some creature. Mushroom was very obvious, and some creature which is like this, like the system. So but looks organic, and then that's why I make them kind of a human mushroom creature, which is both part like this mushroom part of a mycelium of network and system and so on, and also this because the human labor I found very important in the whole project. It has I'm not sure how like if I start digging right now, if how much human labor will be left. But in 2023, 2024, when I did the research, it was pretty obvious that you cannot go without it still, even though you have automated so much. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I was interested in the dynamic perspective because in this one graph where you showed your data pipeline, you said it exploded after the invasion of Ukraine, and afterward it seemed to be quite stable. So I'm wondering, like generating these websites, or there's probably only a finite amount of people that can earn from it, and a little bit your thoughts on like maybe like looking into the future, what's like the real risk of this accelerating more, or will it stay at this level, or how do you think about this?
There was a report saying that Chef-Opé had active users around 10,000. By active, I mean users that have several mushroom domains page, because you can generate as much as you want. And 10,000 who are active, it's not that little. This means by active, it means they got paid and they had more than one. And end of 2024, there was in Bulgaria a lot of media coverage around the mushroom websites, and one politician, which I don't know, was one shady politician, made a fuss about it, and like that it has to be traced and so on and so on, and then some pages weren't accessible anymore at that point, and Chef-Opé, for example, as well. Afterwards, first some domains weren't accessible, then the Chef-Opé website wasn't accessible anymore, and then these domains that I researched on, they are kind of they're down, most of them, and then new emerged in the last year, circling around beauty tips, cooking and something like that. But inside of those pages, of course, in between articles that are very much with right-wing rhetoric. And so the one that I researched on already almost gone, new came. So I have the feeling that it won't, like it's something that we have to accept somehow, that it's there, and it's not really, you cannot really fight it, but what you can do is be aware of it, and like navigating through online space with an open eye. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll move to the open discussion section. If by chance you have questions for one another as well about what you presented about, that would be great, or we can take more questions from the audience. It's very open, we'll go for about 10 minutes.
Let's do 20, yeah.
if no one has a question to begin with, I can start. I have a question about that puts both of your works into conversation. For example, for you, Venelin, you spoke about sort of providing a frame for this network to emerge, or for mistakes to happen, or for things to grow organically, especially with the piece, The One Person. Whereas for you, Veneta, your research that you've shown just now is about showing how that's actually already happening and what it's composed of when things are growing organically in this way. So I'm wondering if you could respond to each other in this way, where if you get what I'm saying.
I think the process of appropriation is quite important. How we could make systems that deal with the values, with the numbers, with the reactions, with all mixture of different intervention, different behavioral trajectories. So I think this is also part of Veneta's project, how we could trace, how we could create a living organism that is built by real processes, but to embody these values into subject which has his own dramaturgy. So we are much more in the position of dramaturgists, and dramaturgists, they make characters, and sometimes their characters has their free will. We encourage the free will and exposure of the free will. So this is from my side.
I was also thinking about this triangle of observing from outside the system, like doing also in Venelin's work, One Person, for example, you standing in front of the one person, you observe first this one person creature. You are actually part of it also. You're becoming part of that creature or a proxy. This is something that I'm also interested in not only observing but being part of, or getting inside of a system and having this other perspective from the within.
Frame makers.
I would have a question to you, and then maybe a more general question. Like, what kind of forms of activism against these mushroom websites did you observe? Because I feel like your work is also kind of a form of activism about informing the public about what's going on. But maybe, like, in the beginning I thought maybe you could build your own mushroom website and then have bots that kind of drain the money from Russia that they invest in this, but if it's coming from ads, you can't really do that. But yeah, what kind of forms of activism are there? And then maybe a general question, like, what's the role of artists and activism? How far can you go? Is it like okay to inform, but hacking, would that be also a form of art, maybe?
Sure. I would love to. I would love to do both, but somehow, my way is working with moving image, and at the end of it all, like through the whole research, through several different stages of installations, and it turned out to be this short film, which will now, like, I hope soon, have its world premiere, and we'll be getting, like, we'll entrance different spaces, getting to different audiences and inform, which is, I guess, this what my work will do. I don't have, like, I wish I had the hacking powers to go more into this activist side. Maybe if I found the right collaborators in the future. But I guess there is a small part connected to activism in my way of working or approaching topics. But at the end, most of the time, it ends up being a moving image which has different purpose or like a different way to communicate through the screen. Yeah.
Speaking generally, the intersection between art and technology, it's the roots of this intersection. It's on activism, it's on reaction, on the criticism, and on the position that fight with the normatives. So these roots are very important. They bring certain level of vitality into art, which I think it's very, very important, because on the other side, the huge process of entertaining usage of technology in artistic context, it absorbs this power, this subversive power in the intersection of art and technology. So if I could describe my position, it will be for sure on the side of subversive aspect of art. And in the frame of art and technology, I think this is on the roots, into the roots. So there is process of commodification, of monetization, of speculative usage, much more working for fun and entertainment. And we make our audience very sleepy in that way. So I think it needs much more activism, much more awareness into the content and into basically how we deal with this.
I wanted to ask about the format of the video. Can you tell more about that? Is it two narratives going with the person who was interviewed and then the mushroom character, or what is the structure?
I don't want to give too much, go into too much detail, so that's a spoiler. But the main structure is there are 5 characters which represent different roles in the system and give their perspective on the whole mechanism inside of the system, and you don't hear the interviewer, you only hear their answers, and in between you have the mushroom character in the woods, which it's like at the end like little bit like chapters, and in between you have the mushroom, and then somehow it makes a round circle around the whole structure, and it ends, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you, first of all, once again. I'm still, what stuck with me a bit is still what you said, Venelin, when you were asked in the first question round about the impact of AI, that you said it's like as an artistic medium, it could be something like the emanation of conceptual art. And well, maybe first a short comment of maybe a bit of puzzlement about this. I mean, I get it in a sense, but then I was wondering whether I would agree on the level of sure, you could say you give. It also depends on what kind of AI process we're talking about, for sure. But let's keep it simple and say we give a machine learning based model an idea, and it generates something out of it. But I was wondering whether it's really, it depends on the use case, I suppose, but whether it's really an idea or whether it's one step further removed. You could also ask an LLM, for example, to come up with an idea for an artwork, and then you would be more in the role of, let's just say, the conceptual artist than the commissioner of an artist, you know. So you're somewhere even earlier in the process chain, so to speak. And also, I mean, okay, let's finish this comment. But I was wondering whether you, Veneta, would kind of agree, as you also use. Whether you see AI similar, as you actively use it also as a tool in your research. I was wondering whether there's some kind of maybe productive tension between what you two think about this.
Yeah, you catch me. That was, of course, a speculative statement. But this is what we look for. We always look for direct connection between our brain process from our how to extend our thinking, how to find the tools to make our thinking powerful enough to create worlds and inhabitants in this worlds. So we finally succeed with this direct connection. I remember also the work of Alvin Lucier with his music solo play with his brain waves. You know, there is always the big question how we use our tools, our technologies, and this is how we could create our position, not from the tools itself, but from the way how they are used.
Yeah, well, I agree with Venelin that at the end it's what we make out of those tools, and AI. It's quite impressive new tool, which of course infiltrates every aspect almost, working aspect, daily aspect, everything. But I don't, in my work I also treat it as a tool, and at that stage I would say, I mean, I could imagine it being also more direct. I mean, it's still a bit, a lot to, like, could approved much more. So in that sense, yeah, in that sense, it's the extension, probably the directest extension we have nowadays as a tool. And for artists which like us, which work a lot with, like, or start with a concept or an idea, it's a tool, of course, that you cannot, that it's just accelerating the process. Yeah.
Maybe that sort of connects, but I'm not sure it's gonna. I'm gonna get to a question, or if it's gonna stay a comment. Let's see. But so something that sort of struck me for both your works or the works that you've shown now is like agency, or they both deal with agency or the lack thereof, right? Like the one person sort of is this statue that seems to have no agency but has other systems that not project but, like, you know, put agency onto this sort of person. And then also the mushroom man does not have agency, but it's agency that's controlled from somewhere else, right? It's like just this website then posts things that are meant for it to post. So I was sort of thinking, like, when you work with AI or tools that utilize AI as an artist, how do you work? Doesn't fully connect, but how do you work around the agency that is instilled within these tools? Like, how do you use tools that have economic agency, that have ideological agency? Because if you curate, for example, an exhibition, and it's a system built by Meta, then there's certain incentives for choosing this work over another work, and there's, of course, economic incentive in publishing these kind of articles on these kind of websites. So I'm just sort of, it's not fully a fully proper question, but, like, how do you work around, how do you bring out your own agency in tools that have agency that is already sort of pre-instilled into them, if that makes sense?
Complicated question.
Yes, it's a complex question. I mean, there was a point in my like a couple of years ago, before AI, I was working with CGI, doing same thing, like speculative documentary and film, and I was very much concentrate on working only with open source software, which I found like the way to go. And then I mean, AI, it's like it will be great if there is like a way to break this. I mean, to have an AI, for example, here in Europe, an AI with agency that we could connect a bit more, maybe not 100%, but at least more than with the AI produced in the Silicon Valley. But we don't have it at the moment. And then we have to figure out ways for us, I don't know, to use AI in ways that that we could stand behind, or like at some degree we could combine with our own agency. And I don't know, I don't have a recipe for that at the moment.
Yeah, we end up with shortly in this complex questions that I also ask myself in that directions. I try to go back to the roots of AI and to remember that everything it's a question of education, of learning process. How you, and what about is the purpose of this education? What do you want to teach? Thinking about this, being in that position. Because the system that you teach became a living organism. So the question of responsibility arises. Yeah. And then the question of self-awareness arises. And some other aspects of wisdom that are quite lost.
And I suppose on that note, we're going to wrap up today's session. We would like to thank all listeners here and online in the stream, and especially today's guests, Veneta Androva, Venelin Shurelov. We would also like to thank our team here and the people who set up the loops today. And yes, with this, I can say that this is the last loops of the semester. But loops will be back in April after the semester break, so stay tuned. And very important, we would like to invite all of you to our end of semester exhibition next weekend. So February 13th to February 15th, with the exhibition starting on Friday from 6 in the evening until however long it takes, and then Saturday 4 to 10 in the evening, and then Sunday 2 to 6 in the evening. And yes, thank you again, everyone, and let's continue our conversation at the bar.